Hello, everyone. I'm Lance White, Director of Business Development here at IDS. And I have a strong belief that the steel industry is as much about the people who do the projects as it is about the projects themselves. To that end, I am trying to do a series here of interviewing a lot of my colleagues and co-workers here at IDS so you can learn more about the IDS team. With me today is Mr. Dane Law, and I've got to read from my list because of Dane's long list of credentials. Dane has over 14 years of experience in the steel business, and over that time, he's pretty much done everything. Production manager, estimator, fitter. He's an AWS certified weld inspector, a CWB welding supervisor, a safety training supervisor, and of course, the role he does for us here at IDS, project manager. His diverse background gives him a really unique perspective in his role here at IDS. Dane, welcome.
Thank you.
Up first, Dane, what initially attracted you to project management and steel detailing? Was there a specific moment or experience that pushed you this way, or happenstance?
So really, at some point, as I was fitting and welding on the skids, I decided it was time to go back to college and finish my bachelor's degree and figure out what the business side of construction looked like a little bit more, so to kind of preserve my body for the long haul. So not really any specific instance, but just longevity in the construction industry.
Yeah, it doesn't get nearly as hot or cold in this office as it does
True
in
story.
a welding shop. So I think that's a big advantage. Project managers have a very stressful and busy job from time to time. What does your typical day look like as a project manager here at IDS? How do you balance working with the fabricators and our detailing teams to get the projects to a successful conclusion?
Sure. So the biggest couple of things that help me balance my day are really just prioritization and looking ahead to prevent future issues. Avoiding firefighting and trying to address things up front, being proactive.
Yeah, proactive versus reactive is always the
Correct.
right move in this business. You're one of our most highly rated, most highly sought out project managers. Folks love working with you. What do you think are essential qualities for being a project manager in this industry? I know you said prioritization. I'm guessing something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, great communication. Whether you're sharing good news, bad news, trying to get a point across, trying to get information. It's just being clear and concise and helping make sure that the end user or the EOR or whoever you're trying to communicate with is understanding what you're trying to convey. It's huge. Avoiding back and forth multiple times to get an answer to a question. An understanding of both what the detailers and the fabricators, not only just the detailers and fabricators, but what the end user and the GC need out of a project. Just understanding that on a deeper level is very beneficial.
That actually kind of leads into my next question pretty good. I'm actually jealous of this part of your experience. You've got a lot of hands-on experience in a fabrication shop, and you kind of alluded to it there a little bit on the end of your last question. How do you think that background benefits you as a project manager? Just having had your hands on the steel and the welds and knowing what you know about that kind of stuff.
Sure. I mean, immensely. I mean, sometimes it's not necessarily in the day-to-day, but understanding, like I said a moment ago, both what the detailer and the fabricator wants and needs, and what some of the errors or lack of coordination, lack of timeliness and responses, design changes, all that stuff, what that impact actually corresponds to for the fabricator, helps give a greater perspective to what's going to be an impact and what's not.
Yeah, I've always thought that the changes on the model and on the sheets are one thing, but that may not necessarily reflect when it gets to the field and they're trying to swing in the beams. If you haven't thought of it from the erector or the fabricator's point of view, what works in the model may not necessarily work in the field, and our end result is a clean, erected project in the field.
Sure.
So,
Well, and not only that, but the back and forth, with revisions. I mean, if revisions are one thing to make in the model and on paper, but they're a whole other thing to roll out to the fab shop or to the field. There's a lot that happens after the drawings leave our hands. That we have to be cognizant about too.
yeah. So I promised everybody no hard questions, but I do have one that's kind of a sticky, sensitive subject in in our industry, there's often a stigma around overseas detailing. From your perspective and your vast experience, what's the most common misconception do you think people have about that?
I don't know. I guess I would address that question more along the lines of what we do to kind of eliminate that stigma. And I think IDS has a good plan in place with having the in-house team here in the U.S. Both project management, marketing, sales, engineering, and connection design. It gives the customer a sole source of communication for their project, and there's no time zone difference. There's no communication barrier. I think IDS has a good situation, good process in place to kind of combat those stigmas that do exist in the industry.
Yep. I think that single point of contact is a big thing. I think we're one of the rare teams that offers a single point of contact in the U.S. during your same time zone. So I think that's a big advantage we have. You kind of already covered my last question. I'll ask you anyway, just because it's here on my sheet. But in your opinion, what's the greatest advantage for fabricators when they choose to partner with IDS on a project?
Well, I think aside of what I just mentioned, I think the sheer horsepower that IDS has, and the ability to take on massive projects and minuscule projects at the same time, the manpower that IDS has, and the flexibility, are, I think, bar none. And the other aspect is the in-house connection design that really can streamline a project and eliminate a lot of back and forth with RFIs and questions to the customer and design team.
Yep. I think having true in-house engineering where you can walk from your desk to talk to a licensed PE makes a big difference. A lot of folks claim they have in-house engineering, but when he's right down the hall from you, it really is in-house.
Yes, sir.
Well, I think that takes you off the hot seat for today, Dane. Thanks for joining us. For all of you there watching these videos, just another testament to the vast experience we have here at IDS. If you got any questions about detail, you can always reach out to me, and maybe you'll end up working with Dane one of these days on a project. Stay tuned for our next installment and meet some more of the IDS team. Thanks.